Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Haven of Horrors. Sorry we took a little bit of a break. I had some personal stuff that I had to deal with, but hopefully it's all over and we're back on some semblance of a schedule. Um, you know, uh, I'm Rue. I use they or he pronouns, and I'll be your narrator for this afternoon. And I'm going to go around and let my players introduce themselves. Kestrel, would you like to go first?
Yeah. So I'm Kestrel. I use these and theirs pronouns, and I'm going to be playing PbtA, who uses they, them, theirs pronouns.
Ro.
Hi, I'm Ro. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm playing Alina, who uses she, her pronouns.
And last but not least, Quinn.
Hello, I'm Quinn. I use they, she pronouns, and I'm playing Blair, who also uses they, she pronouns.
And we're missing our fourth player who might be joining us. We'll see if Ari feels better for the second half. We're missing Ari, who uses he, they pronouns, and Ari plays Vivian, who uses she, her pronouns. Vivian is our resident eye fucker. This is a horror-based system, so I will be giving us content warnings to start the episode. This episode's lighter than usual, I will say, but the content warnings do include blood, mentions of war and violence, and historical, military conflict. So if any of those things are particularly triggering for you, please feel free to take a step back and keep yourself safe for today. Your safety means much more than our little game does. And without further ado, I will kick us off into today's episode, Caught Red-Handed. Blair, you've never come into the office on a normal day yet, have you? So the office, technically, your work hours are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But also technically, you could walk in at any point and no one would care if you were late or early. You're pretty sure that Damien, the archivist, lives here. You've never seen them leave. The others have. They've been to Damien's apartment, but Damien is almost always here, depending on when you get here. Vivian is also almost always here, and her closet is in her office. She's just moved outfits into her office at this point. Alina also doesn't leave very often, if I recall correctly.
She does leave, but it's purely for investigation reasons.
And PbtA switches between sleeping here and sleeping at their apartment, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So everyone else is probably here when you arrive.
It's hard to tell if we're all very dedicated to the job or just homeless.
or too tired to leave. End of the day, you're just like, I could get on the subway and go home, or I could just lay in this bench. What time does Blair get to work?
Blair probably rolls in around noon, 12:30.
Good. I told you which desk you were at, right? When you had you here last time with the honey in it. Cool. I don't have to do over that again. But that is the desk that you have. Other than the honey that was in the drawer, it's a totally new desk, so you can do with it what you will. You get a computer. PbtA doesn't get a computer. Alina's desk has a computer, but she doesn't use it.
She uses an iPad for her.
She does use an iPad.
Oh.
She's got the company iPad. Everyone has a company phone or iPad of some kind, but Alina actually uses hers. But yeah, you come into the office around 12:30. Vivian is not at her desk, which might not be super surprising for you. You know, just from the short time you've been here, that Vivian spends almost all of her time in the stacks. She just loves reading all the old cases and making connections. That's probably where she is, you assume. Damien is in their office. The door is open, but they're in their office behind stacks of paper. And the other two are wherever they are. Alina probably has made several cups of tea already, I assume.
Yes. Yeah. She does clean her special teacup in between. making tea. But
That's
yeah,
good.
she's probably drinking the what time is it?
12:30.
She's probably on her 4th tea of the day.
Good for her. How many coffees has API had this morning?
Yes.
2.5.
Okay, respectable. But yeah, as you all arrive, Damien sort of pops his head out and notices that you're all here, or at least all of you who are not in somewhere buried in a bookshelf, and says, whenever you've got a minute, we've got a case I think you all might want to look at, but take your time. It's not super time sensitive, I don't think.
PbtA takes a pack of gum out of their pocket and pops like 4 sticks in their mouth.
Good.
Blair also arrives, double fisting what appear to be 2 cups of coffee. Sets both of them on the desk. Also, a force of habit, dumps their pack of cigarettes on the desk. No lighter, just the cigarettes.
Wait, do you mean dumps it out or just places the package?
Places the package. That is important.
Okay.
Just
I thought you meant that
dumps all
they
the
just dump it out.
cigarettes.
No,
Like-
no.
It's a form of divination.
It's
Just
like
like-
bone throwing.
Right.
They do not
Just
Filled
read.
with
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
They do not read the clove cigarettes, but it's like they're hand rolled. So it's like a custom case.
Ooh.
So they put that on the table as well. And then they just kind of look at the other 2 and are like, so
Good
what do
morning,
we do
Blair.
around here? Good morning.
What do? We investigate claims of supernatural activity to see how valid they are. And it's not part of the job, it's not like an obligation, but then generally we do have like a stack of bodies at the end of the day due to the investigation. It's generally.
PbtA
But that's
kind of
more
looks
of a-
at you. PbtA kind of
Uh,
looks at you and says, "How did you get hired if you don't know what we do?"
I was just making sure you did.
The stack of bodies is more of a Apia and me thing, but you can join us if you want on that.
We'll see.
Anyone want some tea? Damien?
I would love some, thank you.
Apia?
I'm good.
Blair? I see you have something drinkable, I suppose.
I do.
Do you want more
No.
to drink? Cool. I'll go make me and Damien some tea. I'll see you in Damien's office.
All sort of reconvene in the office. Damien is grateful for probably his 4th cup of tea as well. And settles down at sort of like the head of this little conference table that you sit at, and hands you each a file with a copy of the same statement that they are going to read. For anyone who missed the content warnings, I will give them again. This episode has mentions of and quite a lot of blood, as well as references to war and violence and historical military conflict. So if any of those things are triggering or upsetting for you, please, for your safety, feel free to take a step back. We care much more about your safety than our game. And other than that, I will get our statement started. Statement of Olive Wynne regarding an unsettling school field trip to the Claremont County Historical Society. I'm a middle school teacher. I teach 7th and 8th grade history classes. My life is full of surprises, but nothing really prepared me for what happened last week. What's been happening since last week, actually, is probably a more accurate statement. Every year I take my 8th graders over to the Claremont County Historical Society on a field trip. It's a real small museum, barely enough for a day trip, but it's easy to get to, free for the students, and it teaches them about local history. We don't live in a big enough area for anything here to make it into history books, so visiting the Society Museum lets us see where we fit into the picture. Sometimes the Historical Society gets new exhibits in, donations from families in town mostly. People die and their relatives give away the family heirlooms that have been collecting dust in the attic for decades. That's what makes it fun for me. I'm never sure if the museum will have something new this year, something I haven't seen yet. Last week's trip was that sort of exciting. There was a whole room full of new donations. Apparently, one of the old family trusts signed everything over to the society. No one left to inherit it or something. Either way, I was thrilled to read the new panels and look at the little pieces of history they left behind. The museum is small enough there isn't really a guided tour. The curators just let the students wander the rooms, and everything fragile is behind glass, so there's no worry of them breaking anything. There's always a volunteer or two in each room to answer questions, and it lets the kids, and me, explore at our own pace. I went straight to the new exhibit. I couldn't help myself. I wanted to see all of it, and I figured if I got a head start on reading up on the artifacts, the kids could ask me if they were too shy to ask to volunteer. For the most part, it was a fairly normal exhibit, and a lot of old diaries and letters. I always think it's sweet that people keep those sorts of things. And clothes, too. Very well preserved, they must have been kept in pretty good condition for someone's attic. Jewelry's a constant, too. People like to keep the expensive things, no matter what. But it's still nice to see what people like to wear 100 or 200 years ago. The really interesting thing about this exhibit was the weapon collection, though. That's not something you usually see. For one reason or another, people don't tend to keep their family's old muskets and revolvers, or even before that, ceremonial swords and knives. Those sorts of things tend to get pawned off first, sold to collectors, or donated to bigger collections in museums. A little too fancy for a small town museum. But this time, the family donated everything. There were all sorts of weapons, old knives and spears and guns, things from every era. The family must have been serious collectors to have this many. Almost everything was behind glass, for obvious reasons, I think. But the Historical Society likes to keep some things out. Tactile exhibits, things for people to interact with. In this room, they put out a whole barrel of ball bearings, the kind that you fire out of muskets. The family was a manufacturer of them way back in the 1700s. I joined a couple of my students in putting my hand in, feeling the cold metal against my fingers and palm. It was a very cold sensation, almost wet. And when I pulled my hand away, I could feel my fingers tingling still. There's a big sign asking people to touch, not take. That's, again, pretty standard for museums like this. And I remind my students of it every time. Don't take anything, even if there seems to be a lot of it. If everyone took one, soon there wouldn't be enough for anyone to enjoy them. I know better than to take anything from a museum. But when I was unlocking my door that day going home, I noticed my coat pocket felt a little heavy. And in my pocket was a handful of those ball bearings. I took them out of my pocket, sliding them around, and my hands were suddenly red and slick and cold, dripping with blood. Blood that seemed to seep out of the ball bearings and sink into the lines of my palms. I can't stop seeing that red, and every time I reach into my pocket, I feel them again. Those cool little metal balls, slick and wet with blood. I don't think I like
That's where it
history
ends?
museums. That's where it ends. That's all we've got. Were you expecting something more, Alina? I'm worried.
Let's say it ends in a way that suggests that the person writing it died soon after penning that last line. I'm shocked to see how that statement made its way to the archive.
The same way most of them do via the mail.
We should check on that person.
That's probably a good idea. Seems.
Could we check and see if any
reasonable.
kids have died? Because it sounds like if they all were messing around with the ball bearings.
It would have affected the kids too.
But
Not
that would be
necessarily.
newsworthy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Great minds.
I was also thinking that the sort of resonance of that kind of entity might not take too well to children. So it's possible that the children were immune. But obviously we should check the museum, the statement
1 sec.
giver, see if there were any dead children in the newspaper.
Do people, I guess we'd have to see if they published obituaries for them. People don't always publish obituaries for children.
I mean, if the child died in mysterious circumstances, maybe.
It might warrant some sort of news story, true.
I'm thinking
Hmm.
that because of the context, one would assume a kind of violent sort of resonance, so to speak, for the ball bearings.
Yeah.
But the statement giver wasn't, at least not that they said, compelled to commit violence or anything like that. It was just blood.
At least not when they made the statement.
Right.
Is there a date on the statement?
There is. It's dated about a week and a half ago. I've lost track of what day it is in game. I used to know. But I've lost track of what the actual physical date is in
That's
game.
fair. Time isn't real anyway, so.
Sometime in 2015 is what I can tell you.
I mean, how difficult would it be to get a musket in this town?
I've never gone looking personally. Probably pretty difficult. I don't think they sell them anywhere normal.
More or less difficult than an axe?
Definitely more difficult than an axe.
Yeah, axes you can get at a regular store. I don't think you need permission to have an axe.
No, you can just buy those at the hardware store.
Yeah.
I don't think they sell muskets at the hardware store, but I might be wrong. And Damien sort of like gestures at the wall of books behind them and says, it's not like I go to the hardware store very often.
Well, I think the best would be to first check on the statement giver and then take a little trip to that museum. Does anyone have a better plan, or should we split up?
I do love field trips.
You haven't gotten to go out yet, have you, Blair?
No. It's my second day.
Field trips are exciting in this line of work.
That's a word to put on them.
They're not boring.
We went to the theater twice on field trips and cases.
I missed the theater trip. That's disappointing.
I'm
Why?
sure there will be more. Theater kids are like,
To be
They
fair,
love-
one of them,
they
One
love
of
to
them
start
was-
up cults.
they do. To be fair, one of them wasn't a theater. It was an avant-garde theatrical experience in an old 18th century house.
That wasn't the supernatural element, if I recall correctly, of
No.
that case.
Nope, they were just there. We did go to see them, though, to see if they were the supernatural problem.
They were just weird.
The other one, the cult was just using the theater as a meeting place.
True.
Normal.
So, Apia, we were planning on going to see the statement giver and then check on the museum. Do you have
Sounds good to
any-
me.
Cool. Then, Damien, are you coming with us, or does Blair know how to drive?
Does Blair know how
I
to
say
drive?
to Damien.
Damien looks over at Blair and is like, "Do you know how to drive?"
I know how to call an Uber.
I will drive us to the locations. Normally Vivian drives.
There's nothing wrong with the bus.
There is nothing wrong with the bus. My only concern is that if we end up covered in blood, we probably can't take the bus back.
You overestimate how much bus drivers care.
We
You know,
could take the
that's fair.
bus. I haven't taken public transport in a hot second. That would be novel.
Do you all want to take the bus? We can take the bus. Doesn't bother me all that much.
And what's a field trip without a bus?
I mean, at first we're going just to see the statement giver. We should probably call the statement giver first instead of just showing up at their door, shouldn't we?
Oh, probably.
By most normal societal rules, yeah, probably.
No, I mean, because if they are a teacher.
Yeah, it is the middle of the day.
Right, they could be at class. So
We
I'm
could
going
always
to-
try the
Be dead.
museum first.
Might be at baby school.
my sort of thought process in going to see the statement giver first is to see what kind of influence this object can exert before going to see the object, just so we have more information.
Well, you do have the most experience.
Yes, I do. Literally, I think in the sheet.
on my character sheet, it says I've leveled up so many fucking times.
So many times. I leveled up like 5 times already.
As opposed to Vivian, who has never leveled up in her life because she's never failed a roll.
Yeah.
Are you
call.
Are you
the
calling
phone.
the like the phone number the statement giver gave for their home?
Yes.
Oh, do you for Quinn's benefit, Alina makes all of her calls on an old rotary phone that she has at her desk, which Ro might also have with an arm's reach. I assume it's what they're reaching for. Yeah.
It's covered in dust. This is bad for my health. And it does all the
be careful.
sounds.
Yeah, it makes the rotary phone sounds.
I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I'm calling.
You call the statement giver.
Comically oversized phone.
You call the statement giver's home line, and it rings about 6 times, and then it goes to a voicemail box. It says, "Hello, you've reached Olivia. Please call back or leave a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can."
This is the only prop I have nearby.
I love your little hat. I've got these little squishy boys. Like, oh, he's
Oh,
green, so he's part of the
they're
green
right.
screen. Quinn got them for us. They're little like stimming squishies.
Oh,
This
that's
is how I
nice.
used to wear hats when I was a child because I didn't like the feeling of them just sitting on top of my head.
Secure.
What was the name of the statement giver? Olivia. What?
Olivia Wynn. It's pronounced Win. It's spelt Nguyen, but it's pronounced Win.
Okay.
Mm.
Hello, Mrs. Swin. I'm calling from the Ravenwood Institute. We got your statement and we were wondering if we could do some sort of follow-up investigation on that. If you could call us back, that would be most appreciated. Thank you. Goodbye.
Maybe she's at school.
Maybe she's dead.
That is another option.
Yeah, we can check.
See if she's
Did
coming into work.
they give their address?
Their human address? Yes.
Did they give their inhuman address?
I was asking if you meant the school address or their personal. They gave
Right.
their home address, just not the school address.
Right. They gave their inhuman address, but that's on the moon and it's not in the budget.
Yeah, I know you guys have full access to the company credit card, but you can't exactly purchase a flight to the moon.
We don't have the amount of cash that Jeffrey Bezos has.
Okay, so
Born in 1960.
I'm going to call the school.
Okay.
Blair is watching because like they have never seen a rotary phone before. Blair is fascinated by all of this.
It's the rotary phone, not the supernatural investigation
No, Blair's really into the rotary phone.
that piques Blair's interest. So I'm
I
calling.
don't care about this history museum, but you've got a rotary phone in the office.
I'm
Calling the school.
There's a
calling the
rotary
school.
phone loose in the archive.
Well, it's not loose. It's connected to the wall, probably.
It's very much not loose.
If it's from artifact storage, it's loose.
No, I mean, Alina's phone is not from the artifact storage. It is probably haunted because it's been with her since phones were invented. But yeah.
If she could have brought one of those wall hanging phones from the turn of the century, she would have.
Yeah, but those were from her husband's house. She couldn't
Yeah.
take those.
She couldn't take those. That would be rude.
Right. The family would have sued or something.
Yep, you call the school, and after a couple of rings, you hear Claremont Middle School. This is Amelia speaking. How may I help you today?
Hello, Amelia. I'm looking for Mrs. Olivia Wynn.
Oh, Miss Wynn?
Yes.
She's been out sick for a couple of days this week. Would you like me to take a message for her?
No, thank you. I will call her at her house.
Oh, of course. Thank you.
If you see her, tell her it's from the Ravenwood Institute.
Oh, okay. I'll write that down for her. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
She's
I love getting
probably
to use my
dead.
customer service voice.
It activated my fight or flight.
I will put it down to a 75% possibility of Mrs. Wynn being dead. The rest of the percentage is she has blood powers now.
Did you ask them if any of the children have died?
I don't think they would have told me if that was the case because it's bad for PR, let's say.
They also might not
Mine's-
know.
That's true.
I'm
I mean,
living
people die in their
this-
homes all the time and aren't found for years.
I mean, if they were children, I would assume someone would have found them because ideally they don't live alone.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about Miss Nguyen.
Right. No, Miss Nguyen hasn't been to work for a couple of days. So that's why I say she's probably dead.
I'm living in this fantasy where you call a school and ask if any children have died recently, and you don't give the school your name or why you're calling, and they just tell you.
Yes.
You just
Hey, have
lie
any
and say you're
kids
from the
died
paper.
recently?
Hey, I'm from the paper. Have any of your children died? No. Would you let me know if they do? It would make really good news.
I mean, we could try to use the internet to. I feel like people talk about their dead children on the internet.
I wouldn't know. Blair,
Can
Do
you
you wanna
use the
check-
internet?
The internet.
the internet?
I am very proficient in the internet, yes.
Would
Neither
you
of
like
us can use the internet. Me because I make technology explode, and Abe and Alina because they're too old.
Blair will just start to pull out their personal phone and then go, this isn't how normal workplaces work, and then go back to their desk and use the computer like a person. How old is this computer?
Not particularly old. Probably like it is 2015, so probably like a 2012 computer.
Hmm.
I was about to say it uses Windows XP.
No, that's the
No,
real horror of the episode.
No,
Yes.
Harami is pretty good about keeping the tech in this place semi-updated, except for the parts that can't be.
Yeah, so while the computer is booting up and connecting to the internet, because it'll take a minute because it's 2015, Blair
Yeah.
shoots off a quick text that I will send to you.
A fun fact, when I worked for the health department as an intern for one summer, they upgraded all of our it was the summer of 2014, and they upgraded all of the office computers from Windows XP to Windows 7. And I was the only person under
That's
the
a
age.
huge
Yeah.
leap.
Yeah, they had not updated their computers since like the early 2000s. And I was the only person in the entire office building under the age of 30. And so every single person in the office, like from the top of the food chain downwards, had me come into their office to explain to them the basics of Windows 7.
Fun.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
So I send that text, and then I will, once the internet is working, Google
Yeah.
the county, be a human being and use the internet.
I can
I
use
am real
Google like
human.
a person.
I use internet.
Make a thought roll to see how successful your internet searching is.
Roll for internet.
I had a really fun time in a Vampire the Masquerade game where one of the characters was like, I'll Google it. And I looked at them and said, the game takes place in the 80s. I would like to see you try.
I
did that with Monster Hearts. I was like, check the wiki page, and Rue was like, it is the 80s.
There isn't one. I'm playing a La Sombra in the vampire game that I'm playing. And it takes place in the modern day, and we have a Nosferatu who lives in the house with us, and their room says, Zara, do not enter, because La Sombra break computers by being even vaguely close to them.
I always encourage my players to go to the library because I think it's very sexy, and they never do.
Oh.
I mean, they did in the first episode, and then they just haven't gone back because I introduced the internet gecko and they won't stop using it.
The internet gecko?
Well, it's because I also run a sort of Haven of Horror style thing, but the internet doesn't really work. So they have basically a mildly enchanted gecko that is able to give them an internet connection, and it lives inside the computer, and they have to like finesse it every time they talk to it to try and get it to give them the information, or it just hates them and won't give it to them. And one time they messed up so badly that it stopped talking to them for 2 weeks.
I love him. I would die for it.
They call it the Geico Gecko, and it's in artifact storage, and they have to go in there every time they want
would
to
die
look
for
anything
it.
up on the internet.
All right, Blair, how'd you do it searching the internet?
12.
A 12, okay. So you can just ask your questions and I'll give you the answers the internet has.
Oh, but how good? Well, it's a 12. Blair's competent with computers. Blair's very competent with computers, actually.
Blair can get past the second page of Google results. The dark web.
Yeah, Blair is very intimately familiar with the dark web. So not the entities. Anyway, I would, okay, how many questions do I get?
3.
3. Okay. First, Claremont County missing children.
That comes up with like a sort of like a database page. Most counties do have them for missing children. There aren't any recently missing children, though. The most recent you see is from about 2 months ago.
Okay.
But in total on this page, there are 12 currently active missing children's cases.
Okay. And then I would look up the museum and the name of the, I can't remember if the statement gave the name of the new exhibit, but I would go to
the museum's website.
The museum's website and see if there's any info about the new exhibit.
Yeah. So you Google the Claremont County Historical Society,
Mhm.
and their webpage is, you can very much tell it was built when web design was new, and they haven't had it retooled since. You can navigate it. It's just not well done. And you just kind of like, you sigh at the really bad UI. But there's
graphic
like
design. Graphic design is Blair's burden.
Instead of like updating things, they just keep adding things to the sidebar, and that's how you navigate the web page. So the sidebar is like 3 scrolls long.
No.
So I found the monster, everyone. No.
It's there.
Maybe
Real
the real
monster
monster
is
was
the
the
admin
web
of this
design we found
page.
along the way.
And they're instead of being like in order of recency or whatever, they're alphabetized. But thankfully they have given you the kindness of putting the word new next to the new ones. So there's that at least.
It
So
sparkles. It's like new.
No, stop it.
Font.
Stop.
So it's a GIF.
I will take psychic damage.
The links aren't bolded, so the text is thin compared to the rest of the text. But you can open the page for the new Ashford family estate exhibit. And when you open it, it is the most basic HTML coded like an image at the top and then just blocks of text.
Why have you created this to hurt me specifically?
I created this to hurt me, actually. But yeah, just like images and blocks of text telling you about the Ashford family, which is one of the sort of like founding families of this town, and their contributions to the town itself over time. And then also what was donated, like not like a list, obviously, of what was donated, because that would be a really long, horrible list, but like an idea of the like historical clothing exhibit and the collection of diaries and letters and the historical weaponry exhibit that were all donated to the society.
Okay, and does the Ashford name ring a bell? For me specifically.
For you specifically, I mean, it would ring a bell for anyone who has been like who has been raised here. Like there are elementary schools named after this family. That's how like weird and rich this family was. But also like you, from the things that you know, would know that this is like one of those like old school influential families that have like that come up a lot sometimes in like your research and stuff.
Ah, I see.
Would that have come up in my ongoing investigation of the
Yeah, same deal.
I'm trying to find a funny way to say it, but it's basically geomancy, what they have been doing.
The
Institute
geomancy that
family.
they've been doing, yeah.
Right. I was trying to spooky city planning.
You know, that's what I'm calling it from now on. We're exclusively calling it spooky city planning. Welcome to Spooky City planning class, where we talk about how to build your street grid to how to build your street grid in an entity honoring way.
Right.
I'm screaming inside.
But yes, it would. I thought it is. Gentrification horror.
Right.
How to make sure your buildings are placed surreptitiously in occult symbols.
But my question is, what would I know about this family from investigating all the different families that had to do with the I was going to say evil gentrification, but like regular gentrification is the supernatural gentrification.
There you go.
A gentrification to supernatural boogaloo.
I just realized that that's what they did in Full Metal Alchemist. They made the country a giant alchemy symbol. Yeah. This is that. Wow, just like me looking at this campaign. Wow, just like Full Metal Alchemist.
Whoa, just like in anime.
I've never seen Full Metal Alchemist.
The anime.
Oh, major spoilers from Full Metal Alchemist.
That's fine.
I'm so sorry. It's been out for like 10 years. If you don't know yet, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's good. Watch. It's the only anime I will recommend.
But yeah, would you make a thought roll for me? But take +1 because it's something you know about and have been researching.
What's my thought?
I don't know.
My thought is +1, so if I had a +1 to this, it's an 11.
11. All right, a full success. You know that the Ashford family is sort of one of the like original colonizing families that moved into this space and like began building like the city proper. Like not physically, because you know that like the architecture family is the Crane family is like the architects of this town. But
I just realized that they are called Crane. Go on. Yes, thank you. Yes, this construction business run by the Cement family. I love it. Go on.
Thanks. I'm really good at naming my characters. The Ashford family was sort of like the capital behind the building of the city. So they poured a lot of resources and money into it. And thus got a lot of influence in where important buildings were placed. And they worked very closely with the Crane family in terms of architecturing the like main thoroughfares of town and what buildings got placed where.
I will relay this information to the rest of the group.
Yes, Quinn.
I believe I still have one question.
You do, yeah.
I'm gonna try to look up Olivia Nguyen's social media presence.
Okay. Yeah. She is a teacher in her early 30s. So she's got a fairly well, because you rolled so high, I will let you know that like her private socials are locked, obviously, because you don't want your students accidentally finding your social media. And also, like, you want to be able to complain about work. But like, she has a public Facebook page that's pretty easy to access and has her like teacher at Claremont Middle School information. But she also has a private Instagram and a private Twitter that are follow locked.
Does she
but-
show up on any other apps?
She does. She's got a couple of like dating app profiles if you're looking through for those sorts of things. She's
Look
also
through those.
She's also got a LinkedIn. You can connect with her on LinkedIn if you'd like.
You can certainly try at least. I would probably go to the dating profiles and see if
she's
there
been
is a
active.
if there is a last active.
So she's got she's on like 3 different dating sites. I'm gonna blank on any real dating sites, so just imagine them in your head. And her most recent activity was that she it tells you when someone's online last, right? If I remember correctly how those things work.
Yeah.
It tells you that she was last online on Sunday in the like I don't know if it tells you the time, but like the afternoon.
Well, she's been on dating sites at
So-
least, so
It's
she's
it's
not.
Tuesday. I didn't clarify. It's Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay. Well, she's been active at least online in the past couple of days.
I find it interesting that she had a problem with teleporting ball bearings that bleed in her pockets. And at the same time, she did find the time to log in to the dating site while she was dealing with that.
Maybe it's a
I'm-
really good
I'm-
site.
I'm just mentioning it for a psychological profile.
Unless I don't actually have I don't want to speak into existence the sentence I'm worried about it being, says Damien from behind their desk.
Blair leans in on
Okay.
that. Well, now you
Well-
have to, Damien.
I hate being Apollo's prophet though, because I never want it to happen and then it just does.
You are touched by the eye, though.
I
So
know. It's
whatever you say might be actually be a prophecy and therefore useful for the case.
Spit it out.
I was going to say, if we're worried about this having a more violent turn, an easy way to get a hold of someone if you were being compelled to violence would be to go looking for them.
Yes.
That is an excellent thought, Archivist.
Thanks. I'm full of them. That's why I don't sleep.
You get used to that.
Yeah, I thought that
Okay.
might be a possibility. I just didn't think of the dating app angle.
Sorry, Alina.
Yeah, well, let's go visit her.
The bus.
Then
The bus.
let's go. Let's take the bus.
Do you all want Damien to come with you or no?
If he wants to
Yes.
come, sure.
Okay, he can come. He doesn't really care.
He doesn't have anything better to do
He doesn't have anything
Then-
better to do right now.
than check for slashers, I think would be what we're looking for.
Check for murder.
We're gonna ring the bell of Jason Voorhees to see if he can come out and play.
All right, you're hopping on the bus and taking the
Yes.
bus to Miss Nguyen's house.
And I would like to do the thing I DM'd you.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll
Uh,
for that. Do you roll for that or do you just do
Yes,
that?
I roll for that. with that stat. Ah, it fell in my sleeve. Ah. Okay. Oh, gorgeous. 13.
Oh, a 13. I see.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you, since you're doing this surreptitiously, do you want me to tell you or do you want me to message you?
You can message me.
Okay. Okay, but yeah, you are
I
on the bus.
will.
Rose gonna commit murder.
Yeah. I will say, I used to play a lot of characters like that. I get it. But also, I will kill you.
I'm not doing anything wrong. What you see is just Blair's very excited to be on a bus. It is actually like genuinely very novel to them. Like they don't take public transport often, you can tell.
How much Michael Kors is Blair wearing right now?
Please don't insult me,
rich?
Michael Kors. Blair is in like a slouchy well today she's in like a slouchy denim jacket with like a tank top and probably some like tastefully distressed black jeans and like Doc Martens.
I want
to apologize really quick that everybody on the gosh darn planet is calling me today.
It always happens
I got a
when...
call from my work because I have a job now, and I got a call from my and I got a call from my apartment, which I also have now.
Hey, congrats!
Everybody's trying to call me.
You're so popular.
It always happens.
They're good calls, so that's good.
Yeah, they're good calls. It's just all happening at once.
It always happens when one's playing a TTRPG.
PbtA has a monthly bus pass. Has one of those bus passes.
Good.
They take the bus a lot.
But yeah, I was asking if Blair's rich.
Are you asking Blair if they're rich?
No, I'm trying to deduce it.
You can certainly just ask them.
Elena looks at Blair like, and rolls to insight to know.
Yeah, roll thought to see if you can determine how rich Blair is from looking at their clothes.
That's a natural 12, so it's a 13 in thought.
Yeah, how like, I mean, because I don't know what Blair is currently wearing in terms of like designer brands, but with a 13, Alina could tell at least like wealth, like status from your clothes. Like, are they like designer distressed?
They are designer distressed. You get like, she's like better dressed because she's not a cis man, so like they are better dressed than most tech startup guys. But it's like tech startup vibes, but with fashion. Because
tech startup, but not rancid.
Yeah.
Tech startup, but Blair takes showers every once in a while.
Like new money.
New money. Yeah. Nouveau riche tech startup.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll save that information in my brain pocket.
Does Alina know what a tech startup is?
I think she's vaguely aware of the idea of one.
Vaguely aware of the concept of tech.
She'll ask Vivian about it later.
But yeah, presently Blair is just like very happy to be there and very pleased with themselves.
Alina will understand the concept of a tech startup as what if Edison, but more.
Oh, don't compare me to Edison.
And we'll hate it.
Yeah. You all hop on the bus, and would we like to take our break there while y'all bus ride to Miss Nian's house?
I would love to.
So we'll take about a 10-minute break here and we'll see you all back shortly.
Cool.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Haven of Horrors. For anyone who missed the content warnings in the first half of this episode, content warnings for blood, violence, mentions of historical military conflict, war, and also some references to colonialism, as we are talking about the history of an East Coast American town. But yeah, so we have joined our investigators as they get off the bus at the apartment complex where Miss Olivia Nguyen lives, and you have her address. You can make your way up to her apartment if you so please.
Cool. We are on the bus. Or I guess we are getting out of the bus.
Getting off
to,
the bus.
right. To
Yeah.
get to the apartment or
Yeah.
house.
I'm apartment. I'm not gonna gamify riding the bus for you. That seems mean.
Roll for getting the bus.
Roll for how long you have to wait for public transit.
As a brief aside, I ran a mage game where someone had a spell which was summon the bus. It made it so that whenever he got a cigarette out in a bus stop, immediately the bus would show up. It was
That's
a spell
amazing.
he designed. It was great.
That's amazing. I love that. But yeah, you are
Okay.
at the apartment complex.
I will. Do we know which apartment she lives in?
Yeah, she gave you her full address.
Nice.
Also, she mailed a letter in so that it has the return address.
Right.
One of the things that happens with the institute is they just kind of collect addresses.
Is anybody
People are
armed?
waiting.
Huh?
Is anybody armed?
No.
My hands.
No,
are
but I can set things on
certified
fire.
weapon.
APA can set things on fire with their hands, so we
I can
just
kill people if it comes to that,
And
says the
Alina can fizzle with her
95-year-old grandma.
I
Cool.
can make you experience the worst memory of your life repeatedly. That's a
Can
cool,
you?
fun thing I can do that I don't like to do. But if I have to, I guess I can do that.
When did you learn you could do that?
I don't know. Time is a blur for me. I don't know what day it is.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Thank you.
It's Tuesday, and it I'm
It's
going.
Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday.
Hello, YouTube. It's Tuesday.
You have to say YouTube with a Ch in the
YouTube.
middle. Hello, YouTube. It's Tuesday, isn't it? I love that whenever you do that on the internet, it just summons a bunch of British people who are like, at least we don't die waiting for healthcare, like, because we can't afford healthcare. And it's like, calm down, Susan. Anyway, that's my rant about Britain.
It's fun
The UK
because they
doesn't
can't
exist.
tell that to me because there is healthcare where I live.
Yeah, you do have healthcare. What's that like?
I have to wait like a month because of bureaucracy. It fucking blows, but at least it's free.
I scheduled my doctor's appointment that's at the end of the month in May.
That's
Neat.
I scheduled my dentist appointment that's tomorrow in early June.
Yup.
So the only
America.
difference is that it's just free for me.
Yeah, we pay for our shit, and it
Mhm.
still takes 8 months.
Cool. Then I have no complaints. I will ring the bell.
People be like, under universal healthcare, you have to wait. And I'm like, where
What
you?
are we doing already?
Yeah, like I'm already waiting like 3 years for care. I don't give a shit.
It took me a year and a half to get a top surgery appointment. But yeah,
Well, I'm going to ring the bell.
perfect. You ring the doorbell. It's like the apartment complex you're in is kind of like like middle range. Like it's not like super ritzy and fancy like when you went to Laura's apartment in the art district. But it's
Sure.
not like a bad apartment complex. It's just like a normal apartment complex. The doorbell is like a weird kind of like 3 chime that you can hear through the door. And you hear from behind the door like a clattering sound, like someone's dropped something, but no one comes to the door.
Something or several somethings,
Some things.
like ball bearings.
I'm going to not be in front of the door, first of all. And then I'm just going to be like to the side of the door.
Yeah.
I will say, Miss Wynn, we are from the Ravenwood Institute we called earlier. And we have a moment of your time.
You hear from behind the door, "Go away."
Are the balls still bleeding?
I said go away.
That's a yes.
I'll break the door down.
I don't think we're authorized to do that, but let me, is there a place to sit nearby?
Like not like right
Also-
outside the door, but there's like, you know how occasionally in like hallways there will be like little sitting nooks? There's one of those
Right.
like a couple doors down.
Right. Apia, watch over my nap, okay? I'm gonna take a
Got
very quick tactical nap.
Also, during the bus ride, Apia like put like wrapped up their gum, put it back in their pocket, and then took out from some pocket a portable container of coffee.
At least
Just
it's not the
Secret coffee.
it's
Important
not the styrofoam
updates.
cup that somehow doesn't spill the coffee.
Apia's
That's
a
one of Apia's
wizard.
abilities.
Right. Having a styrofoam cup of coffee in their pocket and not having it be a mess.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know
so
what
I'm gonna-
entity that is, but it's a good one.
I'm gonna take one of my famous
You're gonna take a power
tactical
nap.
nap. Yeah, literally supernatural power nap.
Yep.
Supernatural Power Nap is the name of my pop punk indie band.
Maybe, I mean, like, I think we should keep Alina's murder counter, but I think we should also possibly have a supernatural power nap counter. But yeah, you settle
Time
down on the
Selena
bench.
took a nap in the middle of a monster hunt.
You settle down on the bench and you close your eyes and you begin.
No, Alina
your-
does not close her eyes
Oh,
to sleep.
she
She
was
sleeps like
moment?
this.
Oh right, she doesn't.
We
sleep
have
with her eyes
established she
closed.
sleeps like
I
this.
forgot. She sleeps with her eyes open. I forgot. Yeah, she just leaves her eyes open and astral projects.
Snores very slightly as she astrally projects into the
Yep.
room.
Yep, you can whoop through the wall because you're a ghost now. And you enter the room. And the first thing you notice is that you know how in D&D you can like buy a bag of 1,000 ball bearings and just like toss them on the floor? That's
I
what this
love
room
to
looks
do that.
like.
Hmm.
That's what this room looks like. There's a lot of them. Like too many, objectively way too many ball bearings for any normal person to own or anyone to own really, like because they're all like old ball bearings. They're not new ones. They're not like shiny metal. They're definitely like antique ball bearings that are just kind of scattered about on the floor, on the tables, just everywhere. And all of them have like a weird sort of like burnished look to them, like they're old.
Like they've been
And-
used.
And the like in this little sitting room area, there is a like a coffee table and a couch and a chair. And in the chair, you see a young woman in mid-30s, long black hair that she's pulled up into a very, very like messy bun. Not like intentionally messy, like this was probably a neat bun at one point, but it's gotten messy over time. And she is like sitting in the chair and has sort of like cocooned herself in a blanket, and looks like she hasn't slept. And another notable thing, because I'm certain you're looking for it, up against the wall in front of the chair she's sitting in is a old-fashioned 18th century musket.
I thought you were going to say a dead body, but
No.
yes, a musket.
Yeah, there's an old-fashioned 18th century dead body.
No, I don't know. When you said old-fashioned 18th century, I was like, that's not. There isn't like a mummified guy in there, right?
No.
Could have been. Who
No,
knows?
there's just a musket leaning up against the wall.
While Alina is doing this, Blair will have stepped 11 feet away to have a cigarette, because I believe 10 feet was the requested amount of distance.
Okay. Having gathered as much evidence as there's no blood then.
You can't see her hands because they're like wrapped up in the blanket. There doesn't appear to be blood on the ball bearings that she's not touching.
There doesn't appear to be any blood in the ball bearings that she's not touching.
So like the ones that are everywhere on the ground and stuff, they're not like wet or like sitting in puddles of blood.
I will go back to my body then. So, well, good news. There isn't a corpse inside of there. Mrs. Wynne seems to be very much alive, although distressed because of the manifesting ball bearings, and there is an old musket in the room with her.
Is
She's
she
not like
whole?
no, she's not wielding the musket. It's just leaning against the wall.
We probably shouldn't touch that.
I mean, no, not with our bare hands, at least. The question is, should we? Because she doesn't seem to be in any immediate danger, and doesn't seem to be an immediate danger to anyone else. As far as hauntings, this is tame, I would call it.
I think one of us should talk to her.
Do you want to engage her in conversation? She already told me to go away twice.
Damien, you were going to say something.
Oh, I was going to say that, yeah, this one's not turning into mold, so a little bit less bad than that case, probably. Or setting houses on fire on accident.
I suppose this would be a good training opportunity for me then to speak to a witness.
Sure.
Yeah, if you'd like. I mean, be careful. A lot of the people we deal with are having a bad time.
Okay. I've got this. And then I will stride over to the door and knock 3 times and just, Miss Nguyen, is the door locked?
Yes.
I try.
Why wouldn't I lock my door?
I'm gonna try the door.
It's locked.
Okay. I don't know. It could have not been.
I thought
Miss
you were gonna
Nguyen-
be like, no, it's not, and use the power to unlock it, but
Which power? You don't know.
oh.
That is one of the spiral abilities, is that no door is locked if you are
That's-
if you are opening it.
Yeah. Miss Nguyen, I can promise you that everything is going to get a lot better if you would just open the door.
You should just go away. You really should just go away.
Why?
It's not safe in here.
Ms. Nguyen,
It's a tripping hazard.
I can promise you that it's not safe anywhere. So if you can safely get to the door and let me in, I'll come in and we can talk for a minute and then I'll leave. Promise.
Why do you want to come in?
Because I think a little personal touch can be useful sometimes. And I think you could
Like
really
the most
use...
ominous thing you could have said.
Yeah, that sounded like you're the mob.
It also kind of sounds like you're gonna redecorate her house.
I am being very reassuring. Also,
I'm gonna redecorate your house.
that's a good plan. Miss Nguyen, also, I will help you sweep up the ball bearings.
They just come back.
Yes, but when you do it, maybe if someone else does it.
Would you make a tact roll for me?
Sure.
It is a good argument.
It is a good argument.
You drive a hard bargain.
11.
Okay. There's like a pause, and then you hear clattering repeated. And like a lot of clattering.
You
and-
hear that noise when a cartoon character is falling to the ground, but it just goes on forever.
You hear that really nice. It is a very nice, like kind of satisfying clattering and clunking noise, because it's just a bunch of little metal balls hitting the floor a bunch of times and then rolling across the floor.
I'm really
Uh,
tempted to, like, for the bit, grab my giant bin of marbles and just dump them on the floor, but I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, I would not envy you having to pick them up later.
That's why
I
I'm
I
not
heard you
doing
like
it.
balls and dumps a bunch of marbles on the floor.
God.
And you hear like shuffling footsteps that come to the door. And through a, like, she opens it a very small amount and looks at all of you. And you get to see the same face now, of like clearly has not slept in several days, very tired, very frazzled looking. Her eyes are like alight with like an unhealthy sort of like glinting. And she opens the door and then she steps back away from it very quickly, and then she goes and curls up in the corner of the couch, still wrapped in the blanket.
Valid. I'll
And
look,
you did not see her hands at any point.
got it. I'll look at the other 3. Does anyone else want to come, or shall I go alone?
I'm coming in.
Oh, I'll go.
We're all coming in.
You don't have to. I could probably handle this by myself, I think.
I don't think you
just-
understand that this is a team.
Just here to supervise. I want to see how you do.
Well, I'm not going to sit out in the hall like by myself. Someone will think I'm being creepy, probably.
Yeah, that's not something that we do. We don't do creepy in this institute.
Nothing creepy about this gang. Definitely nothing creepy about this crew.
There's
Creepy
definitely
crew.
like Blair smiles back at y'all, but there's definitely something like a little bit forced about it.
What is up, my creepy crew?
And they just kind of nudge the door open with their boot and kick some ball bearings out of the way.
Yeah, there is a lot of ball bearings on the floor. A lot. Like you're aware that they're there, so you don't have to make like a roll of any kind. Like if you had broken in, I would make you roll agile, but you know that they're there, so you can just kind of like brush them out of your way. As you enter the room, the musket is still in front of her, on the wall.
Alina looks at the musket and the ball bearings and goes like, well, you will never run out of ammunition, so that's something.
It's not mine.
How did it come to be here?
I don't.
Do you know?
No.
When did the musket arrive?
Saturday. Arrive is, I guess, the best word for it. I got out of bed and it was just there.
Maybe the musket is the thing, the anchor.
Well, it didn't arrive first.
Right. Had you touched the musket? Like, was this musket at the exhibit that you visited, that you mentioned in your statement?
It looks a lot like the ones at the exhibit. There were a couple of them there.
Were you allowed to touch the muskets?
No, all of the guns were behind protective glass. For, I think, pretty obvious reasons.
Yes, obviously, they were haunted.
Yeah. I guess.
Blair?
You said you might be able to help?
Might.
We'll have to see your hands, Miss Nguyen.
Oh, am I dying?
What?
Sorry, my Wi-Fi did something fun there. What did you say?
We'll have to see your hands, Miss Nguyen.
And then you said something and I asked what, because I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, because I couldn't understand what was happening. Because my Zoom was like, she looked between the three of you, and like, still like cocooned in the blanket, like gets one hand out, and as she lets that hand out, you watch as like 5 or 6 more ball bearings fall out of that open hand onto the couch.
That's a neat trick.
Manifest
It's like a party trick. Hey, look what I can do.
And her hand is like stained and caked with a combination of wet and dry blood. It has like gotten itself into the creases of her fingers and her palm.
Have you been hearing anything out of the ordinary? Drums, perhaps?
She like looks up at you with like a horrendous level of fear and says, how would you know that?
Have you?
It's our job.
Sometimes it's worse when I sleep. I haven't been, but I still keep hearing it now, even when I'm not asleep. Is that bad? Is the fact that I can hear drums bad?
In this
It helps.
situation, go ahead, Kestrel.
No, it just helps us figure out what exactly we're dealing with here. But in this situation, it's probably not great.
I was going to say in this situation, it's probably par for the course.
Which is also not great.
Right,
The course isn't great.
right. True.
Have you felt any unusual urges?
Define that? What do you mean?
Have you felt an impulse that you do not normally feel, maybe towards violence or something like that?
Not really. I keep having dreams about violence and being very violent. And sometimes I wake up and I'm not in my bed and I'm in a different room in my house. But I haven't left the house. So I guess maybe that might factor into it a little bit. But I don't want to hurt any of you right now. I don't.
Oh, that's because you haven't met us.
Have you been speaking to anyone else about this, or is the fact that you signed into a dating application on Sunday a coincidence?
I'm talking to someone on there, and I hadn't logged in a couple of days, and she was worried, so I logged in. That's it.
Have you told her about all of this?
No, I don't really think that's great for my prospects. Hi, I'm a teacher, and we've been talking about how much I really love kids and the future. By the way, I can
I'm
manifest
sweating
ball bearings,
blood.
and there's a gun in my house. Didn't seem
You
like
never
the
know.
best.
Sometimes people you meet randomly on places like that can be very helpful.
Maybe.
Anyway, back to the matter at hand. I do want to stress out that we are not in any capacity police. We're just here to help, right? That being said, I do want to ask, no judgment, have you hurt anyone lately since getting the ball bearings?
I don't think so.
Have you had any contact with anyone?
I called work to let them know I wasn't feeling well. And that was it.
It's been a week since you sent the statement to the Institute. How have you been getting food?
I have it delivered. I have trouble going shopping and going places in general. So I have a system set up in advance. I order my groceries and the local market drops them off. It's a lot of effort for me to get to the store.
Well, if you don't mind, I think we will be taking the musket, and we will try to remove the ball bearings. They might keep appearing, but we will try to find the source of this issue and deal with it.
Please take it. I don't want it.
PbtA, do you have a bag in your pockets?
PbtA, like,
it's more of an
fishes
affirmation.
around.
It's more like, can I have one of your bags?
Yeah, fishes around and pulls out a Ziploc bag.
No, like for the musket. Unless it's a really big Ziploc bag.
PbtA like doesn't really have anything that big, so they take off their trench coat and hand
Oh,
it to
yeah,
you.
that works. I was thinking of a trash bag, but yeah. Is there like a? I'm trying to think of how to say this. You have a broom and you have the thingy where
Dustpan.
you dustpan. Is there like a dustpan around where I can we can take all the ball bearings and then put them in the Ziploc bag?
In the closet, yeah, there's a broom and things. It hasn't worked for me, but
You never know. Maybe it will work for us. You are muted, Quinn.
Thank you. And while my co-workers do that, would it be all right if I sat with you? It seems like maybe some company might do you a little good.
you can sit down if you want. Sure.
And I will sit on the couch. Not too close, but like next to.
On the couch.
Yeah.
Understood.
Sitting on her lap, straight up. Is this making you uncomfortable?
Is this good for you?
Yeah. And she curls up a little bit more, but doesn't like get off the couch.
So to help you keep your mind off things, tell me more about this girl you're talking to.
I mean, we just started talking. It's not, I don't know. She's very nice.
What does she do?
She's a fire EMT, so like she's a medic, but she works for the fire department.
Oh. And we'll proceed with trying to have chit chat like that. I'm not
Yeah.
going to make you repeat the whole thing.
Yeah, normal small talk.
Yeah.
Well, you sweep up the ball bearings. You can put them in a plastic bag. If you got like a gallon Ziploc bag, you can just fill a gallon Ziploc bag with ball bearings.
Yeah, you can definitely put them in there. I have one of those probably.
You can put them in a purse and then use it to knock someone out with it. So we'll take all these balls and the gun too.
Yep, you wrap the musket in the APS trench coat. It is heavy because it's a musket from the 1800s, so like it's not designed to be light. But also it's like heavy in a metaphysical sense.
APA can carry
Alina sort of
somebody else
feeling the musket and going, yeah, this is haunted as shit.
Yeah, this is fucked.
I can carry the musket if somebody else can carry the ball bearings.
I can probably manage that. Damien has like one of those like over the shoulder slung across the body bags that they keep things in. So they'll just shove them into that. You watch him open it, and inside there's just like too many pieces of paper. And then just shove this in there with it and zip it back up.
Time to take this haunted musket on the not very haunted bus.
Oh, we do have to take this on the bus, don't we? I did not think about the prospects of taking haunted things on the bus.
We could call an Uber.
Is it better or worse to bring haunted things on an Uber?
We could
Less
call it.
witnesses.
Let me. And I'm going to send a text.
Okay.
I like that for a second. The only thing on my web captioner was bus.
Bus. We're taking bus.
My caption
Bus.
says muscular guy in it.
Mine says, okay, chicken bus.
I'm surprised none of the captions says balls. I'm gonna make it so that mine does.
Balls.
Balls.
I did walk right into that one with this case. And every time I wrote the word
Yeah,
cool, every time I wrote the phrase like smooth, cool balls in the statement, I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Balls.
Yeah, we had a fun one like that in a game of mine recently, where there was a conch shell, like from the sea, which there's slang for what that means in Spanish. So we were all saying that word a lot.
My web captioner is actually refusing to write the word balls no matter how many times I say it. So I'm kind of upset about that.
No
There,
worries
finally
about.
said balls.
So Blair looks up from their phone. I've had a private car arranged. We don't need to worry about it.
She's rich.
Ominous as fuck.
You have a private car?
It's not mine.
okay.
I'm borrowing it.
Damien says the sentence, you have a private car, and then realizes that private car is what most people have because it's yours.
I mean, usually we take the company car, which I think it does not qualify, or maybe it does. I don't know.
Usually, I think the company car belongs to the institute. So
It's a deep
The
green.
company car belongs to the company.
It's a deep green Lincoln with out-of-state plates. If someone wants to go look for it, should be here soon.
I don't know the breeds of cars.
Neither do I. That's why I'm asking.
I will go outside. I don't know the breeds of car either, but I know what the license plates look like.
I know green when I see it.
Well, that would be helpful too, I suppose.
I am also not colorblind. Damien just wanders outside with the ball bearings to go wait for the car.
Someone should probably go with them in case they get a little urge to touch the ball bearings.
Right. I will go. Well, Mr. Wynn, it was a pleasure. I hope your ball problem solves itself, or maybe we'll solve it. Otherwise, we can offer you a new job where it won't be that much of a hassle. And I leave.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Have you tried bandaging your hands? Or would you like me to do that for you to see if it helps?
I can't really do anything with my hands because if I
Right.
close them and reopen them, there's more.
Right. So maybe if I bandage them for you.
If you want, there's a first aid kit in the bathroom under the sink.
Apia, do you mind grabbing that?
Got it. Apia
Excellent.
goes to grab the first aid kit.
So the second that they are alone together, Blair will lean in and gently put a hand on Olivia's shoulder. Like one does to a startled horse.
She tenses up a little bit. She was not necessarily expecting it.
Yeah, that's to be understood. And they will briefly look around to make sure that they are as alone as they are going to get. And very intensely, Blair will look them in the face and go, "You've been touched by something greater, and you can either accept it or you can keep fighting it. If you keep fighting it, I don't think you'll last very long. You are a strong one, though. But honestly, there's not a lot of hope left for you in this area, so giving into it is probably your best bet. Can I roll for that? That's a move. Do you know which move I'm using? Rue?
Would you mind repeating that last sentence? Because Zoom made you into some cheese grated syllables.
How much did you get?
I got up to there's not a lot of hope for you in this scenario.
Oh, I just asked if I had to roll for it.
Oh, yes.
Can I roll my move?
Power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last bit, so I was like, oh no, if Quinn said anything else, it's just been cheese grated.
No, it was simply, can I roll? 13.
Oh, yeah, good
Yeah.
job. You stare into her eyes and you sort of just like watch as like that sort of like unhealthy light is still there, but the like little bit of like thankful hope that had been there previously from you all coming in to help her sort of like shrivels out and dies down, and she's just kind of like left staring up at you with this like very hollow expression.
And I will resume my previous posture.
And if you
PbtA comes back with the bandages like pretty soon, I guess.
yeah, and you walk in and she's just kind of staring like despondent and like absolutely like you know when someone is heartbroken in the way where they're not crying but like they look like empty, that sort of expression.
PbtA looks at Blair and then like kind of gives them a look and then looks at I can't remember, Olivia.
Olive.
Okay, I was close. Looks at
Yeah.
Olive and says, don't listen to her. And then like opens up the first aid kit.
You don't have to do that. You both should probably go. Thank you for coming by.
Of course. And I'll get up and go to the door.
PbtA kind of like stands up and says, let's see. I gotta think about how I want to do this.
Oh, you're totally fine. Take your time. Do not
Blair probably told you that there's things afoot, things greater than each one of us could possibly be. I want to tell you that it's okay, and it's okay to be scared. And if you need anything, you can call the Institute.
okay. Thanks.
And then
appreciate it.
PbtA's going to leave. Also, PbtA is like 7 feet tall and has to duck to get through the doors.
Oh yeah.
I think I should
definitely.
mention that. I feel like I haven't mentioned that this session, and it's important to mention. Also, they look slightly skinnier than normal because they're not wearing their trench coat.
Right.
But they are still wearing like 8 layers of clothes.
Sorry, 1 second. My work is texting.
Mm.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, you all leave the apartment and get into the a little too posh town car that's waiting outside. It's like a taxi, but make it posh. and tell the driver to take you to the institute. Is that where you're going?
No, I think we're going.
We
For a
have
moment,
the musket.
I had the stupidest idea of giving the musket back to the museum, like it
could do
isn't
that.
haunted. No, we shouldn't do that.
Shouldn't
So
and
no,
couldn't are different.
let's take the musket and the balls to the institute. I will take every opportunity to say balls. I want you to know.
I've
you
given
should.
this to you.
And then we should go to the museum to ask if we have to kill anyone there. Infer
Just
it.
in
Burn the
case.
museum down. That's an option.
Burn the museum down. It's an option, yes. But yeah,
I
let's
may-
first take it to artifact storage.
I may have some
musket and the
connections at the
balls.
museum. We'll see.
We'll see. Okay.
I haven't gotten to arson
Do you-
in a while.
You haven't
I'd
gotten to
like
arson
to.
in a while. Do you
I would like-
know people at the museum, Claire?
Oh, just the curator. That's all. In
That'll be
passing,
practical.
we run in similar
Okay.
circles.
Maybe we'll have to kill the curator.
Hopefully no one's there when we do it. That would be nice.
When we kill him,
There
Well,
are
I
other
mean, if
ways
we
to
have
get
to
rid
ki-
of people.
If we have
What?
to kill someone, I'd like there to not be a bunch of kids there as witnesses.
they'll get over it.
Um,
If
I've got a lot of statements that say otherwise. So many.
I
But
was
yeah.
making a
Okay,
joke.
Let's go drop this
there.
off in the
Yes.
artifact storage. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
I'm bad at telling when people are making jokes.
I'm terrible at making jokes also. So
Heard drums yet, Archivist?
Hmm?
Have you heard drums yet, Archivist?
Not since I went to a concert.
Fair enough.
good response. Okay, so we
Does
take the
Alina say
musket.
that out loud?
She says it. She says it in that exact tone. So we take the musket and the balls to artifact storage. And Rue is frozen in a laugh, which I think is delightful.
Yes. But oh, in the car, Blair will kind of give Apia like a sidelong glance, very like a knowing glance.
Apia just kind of gives you a look like, well, and
You want to dance? Pulls out a knife in the
Hold
car.
on later.
Yeah, it's very much like a are we doing this now or are we doing this later kind of look.
and Apia is giving you a look of name a time and place.
The Denny's parking lot, 6 p.m. Actually, no.
Far too early.
It's too early. 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Sorry.
3 a.m. in the Denny's.
Had to get our dinner appointment at 6.
Okay, so we get the things in artifact storage.
Yep, you
Things
just hand them off
being-
to the newest
Right.
artifact researcher. They're new. You don't know who they are.
Put this wherever you put the guns and put this wherever you put the balls. In the artifact storage.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take these. Thanks.
Let
Be
someone
careful,
know if
don't-
they
don't
start
touch them.
bleeding.
If you start bleeding,
If they start bleeding, if the walls start bleeding.
I've got procedures for all that. I'm still reading the handbook, though.
yeah, be careful.
Yeah, thank you.
Or don't. I'm not your boss, I guess. Do whatever.
Takes the things from you and just sighs and goes into the back.
Okay, so now
Ooh,
we're going to the
stretch, sorry.
museum.
Crunch.
I am wondering if it's the musket or the ball bearings, which is
I
the
think it's
bearer
the
of the
museum.
curse.
I think it's the museum like itself, like the whole exhibit.
Could be, but I think we would have more cases relating to the museum unless it's something that's fairly new.
It
is
be the
very new.
exhibit. The exhibit is new.
Museum is not.
Exhibit might be haunted.
Cock's gun. Exhibit's haunted.
Not that gun though, and a different gun.
A different gun.
Different gun.
Okay, we go then to the museum to throw down, I guess.
We're throwing down. Sorry, I'm gonna send just for y'all's benefit. This is the historical society for the county that Quinn and I live in, and this is vaguely what I've based this website off of.
Oh no.
Oh, is this a link to the website? To the
Yeah,
Ooh.
but it's worse.
Okay, it wasn't as bad as I expected.
Imagine that top bar is on the side though, and it just goes all the way down.
I really don't like that they called it a Chinese jacket. That makes me kind of upset.
Yeah, there's that.
Fluorescent rocks. They have fluorescent rocks too. Okay, let's go burn down a museum, maybe.
Yeah, let's go burn down a museum. You
Yeah.
Are you taking the privately hired car again that Blair has hired?
I mean,
Presumably.
are we, or are we taking the company mystery machine? The spooky
Because you
van.
can also hop into the mystery machine if you'd like to. Damien can drive.
My vote is for the posh car, but of course it is.
I have no feelings one way or another. If you already pay for the car, sure, let's use it, I guess. I don't think it works that way, but whatever.
This driver is at our beck and call for the next 24 hours. Hell Uber. But yeah, you can hop back into the hired car and make your way over to the Claremont County Historical Society, which is a museum in a old, like, you know those like really weird schoolhouse buildings that they built in the late 1700s and early 1800s? That's
Yes.
like a big, almost church-looking space, and then there's like attached, yeah, one of those.
Okay. You said you knew the curator, Blair.
It's in an old schoolhouse building that's been.
Your Zoom is Angie.
Yeah.
It's so mad. It's so mad, and I don't know why. What happened? What did anyone say?
Just the last thing you said, I didn't catch any of that. And you're frozen again.
No.
Damn.
Rip.
Hmm.
Am I back? Am I here?
You are back.
There we go.
Yes.
Okay, cool. The last thing I said was that it's one of those school building things, but it's been expanded upon. Like they've built little external wings to it.
Right. Well, I think if you can, Blair, I have a question. You said you knew the exhibit curator. Do you know if they
Acquaintances, yes.
do you know if they are involved in any, as the kids say, spooky shit?
I wouldn't say Cordelia is involved in anything particularly untoward.
Hmm. Well, we will have to inform them that. Will we have to inform them?
Oh, I planned on speaking with them when we got there.
Okay. I will take a tour of the museum then while you talk to your acquaintance.
Try not to touch
Okay.
anything.
Sure. I know how museums work.
Maria's not here to stick her hand in the ball bearings.
Unfortunate.
Neither is Vivian, who would stick her brain into the ball bearings, I think.
Probably.
But yeah, the museum is open to the public and it's free to like go in. They accept donations, but the museum is free to the public, so you can just walk inside.
Will I will ask you because we were earlier talking about the spooky gentrification. Will this museum be in a particularly relevant spot for what I've been sort of tracking, sort of the ley lines, so to speak?
Yeah, it is on the Spooky City planning map. The schoolhouse is on the spooky gentrification map.
Okay.
We gotta start them young.
What?
I said we have to start them young. We've
Right.
built the school in a
Whatever you're saying, it's getting really choppy, but I think I got it. I'm going to look. No, it's not your fault. I'm going to look for a basement.
You're gonna look for the basement.
Yeah, I've killed buildings before. I know where the weak spot is.
Fucking basement.
In the basement is where all the building organs are. So you gotta get in the basement to kill it.
I would really like to be looking at the exhibit that is the problem.
Yeah, okay. So, well, are you just gonna open doors until one of them leads you to stairs, Alina?
No. Yeah, maybe. If that's the easiest way to find the basement, sure.
Probably the easiest way would be to ask someone where the basement is.
Right, but then they would know I'm looking for the basement and might try to stop me from going there.
Then yeah, the easiest way to find the basement would be to open doors until you find the basement. Just roll a flat 2d6 and I'll tell you how long it takes for you to find the basement.
2d6, that's 7.
Okay, it takes you about like between 5 and 10 minutes. It takes you a bit of door opening to find the door that is marked employees only, but you just kind of wait until no one is nearby and you open the door because it's not locked. And there's a staircase leading downwards.
Cool. I'll go down.
Meanwhile, Apia, you enter the Ashford family exhibit, which is its own little like series of rooms. It's in a newer part of the building, so like one of the more renovated like zones of the building. And you can walk through the area with the letters and the books and things, and then you can walk through the clothing exhibit, and then the last room in the exhibit is the weapon collection. You notice when you get in there that one of the cases like has caution tape around it and has been shattered.
Is anybody like, is there like a worker person who works here in here?
Yeah, there are two. There's one by the door and then one sort of like wandering the exhibit.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to somebody and say, I was wondering, what happened to the shattered exhibit?
Oh, a few days ago we had a break-in. Someone broke the glass and took a couple of the rifles that were here.
Do you
So
have
we're-
any? That's terrible. Do you have any leads or anything? Hopefully you can get them back.
not that I know about at least, but I'm not super high up. The curators hired a detective to go looking for him, but mostly we're in the process of cleaning up the glass. It's kind of taking a little while, but we're just trying to keep the exhibit open while dealing with it.
All right. Well, I hope you find them.
Thank you. I hope so too. It's been a little stressful. You know, it's bad enough when someone steals stuff from a museum, but it's a little worrying when they steal guns, even old ones.
Did they steal any ammunition, like ball bearings or rifle casings, anything like that? Just the guns.
Just the guns, I think. I mean, I guess they could have taken a handful from the barrel, and he like gestures to the barrel full of ball bearings, and I wouldn't notice. But
All right. Well,
I think
luck.
they're probably gonna sell them to some collector. But you know,
yeah. Good luck.
thanks.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just wandering around and, you know, trying to feel if I can feel anything, but I don't like have a power for that, so I'm just doing it with the power of my mind.
You're just vibe checking.
I'm just vibing.
You're vibing, and the vibe from the barrel of ball bearings is bad. It's just a bad vibe to be near. You can't get much more than that, but it is a bad vibe.
Well, we know there's at least one other missing rifle, so that's not great.
Blair, what are you doing?
I would go up to the front desk and whoever's working there and just go, is Cordelia in today?
Ms. Englewood? Yes, she's in her office.
Perfect. Does she have any appointments right now, or shall I go see myself back?
She doesn't have any appointments. Do you have an appointment?
Yes, and I simply walk past.
Oh, okay. Can I have a name to put on the register?
I do not answer.
Yeah.
I don't get paid enough for this. just writes down visitor ? In the logbook.
And I will find Cordelia's office and knock thrice.
Cordelia's office is like on the like upper landing of this building. It's not like quite upstairs. It's almost like a loft. And you knock, and a voice from behind says, "Oh, come in. It's unlocked."
And I will open the door and close it very promptly behind me in case I don't know where Damien is. I'm not Damien tracking right now. But if Damien was behind Blair, Damien's not coming in.
The last place Damien wants to be is someone's office.
Fair. You know, that's
I
fair.
thought you were gonna say the last place Damien wants to be is wherever Blair is.
That's like the second to last. No, Damien is like vibe checking the other exhibits and seeing if anything else in this godforsaken place is haunted.
Excellent. So I'll shut the door behind me. Just Cordelia, it's been such a long time.
It has been a while, hasn't it? Take a seat, would you?
And I do, and I assume there are drinks.
Yeah, Cordelia has like a decanter of oh, I'm forgetting what it's called. Starts with a C. It's not cherry cordial.
Caviar.
There's like a fancy drink that starts with a C that you serve out of a decanter that I forgot. the name
Cognac?
of. Yes, thank you.
Got you.
Yeah, she's got a decanter of cognac and like little like crystal glasses on her table. It's usually for like, you know, donors and things like that. But
I will pour 2 and give her 1.
so early. I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 2 p.m.
We're being social. So I hear there's been a. Oh, go ahead.
To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?
Well, it seems the Ashford exhibit has been causing quite the stir.
Oh, you know, we always get a little bit of press when something new is in town.
I think you do know what I mean, darling.
Oh, of course I do. I have a little bit of a mess to deal with because a couple of things were stolen in the process.
What if I told you one of them had been stolen back?
Oh. Is it in safekeeping?
Safe as I could get it, yes.
Noted. Well, at least it's not wandering around. Hard to keep track of that way.
No, but it was rather careless of you to leave those tactile exhibits out, wasn't it?
Careless and calculated are two sides of a very different coin, I think.
I can respect that.
I have my purposes, just as anyone does.
Yes, you do. And the Ashfords, I'm sure, had more than one. Or is it just the one?
We had 2 of them on display. We had very particular instructions when we were given them.
Oh, I'm sure.
It is my job to follow those instructions to a letter.
I suppose I should tell you that at least some of my co-workers, associates, are intent on the destruction of this place.
That is an important thing to know. A real
Possibly
pity.
today.
A real pity. This place is important.
Oh, I'm well aware, but some of them have different tastes and different friends. If you catch my drift.
I will make the arrangements I need. I do appreciate you warning me.
Of course.
I'm sure you will have something you need in return. Cat.
Well, cat.
Thank you for turning off the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
He likes to turn off the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
baby. Blair will sort of shake out a stack of business cards and slide them across the desk and just say, make sure these are all given out to all of your employees at all levels.
fair enough. I will gladly return the favor.
You could give it a spin if you wanted.
Oh, I think I'm a little too old for that sort of thing.
Oh, no one's too old for it.
Ah, you'd be surprised.
Yes, it will be a challenge to get some of my associates to engage, but I'll figure it out.
Well, best of luck. Now, I have some arrangements to be making if what you're saying is to be believed.
It will
So-
cost another favor to get it back, but that one's not mine to call in. You understand?
Of course. Well, I'll see what I can do about that.
Would you like me to send them any regards?
No, it's been a while. I should do it myself.
You always were old-fashioned, Cordelia.
Well, someone has to be with all of you new up-and-comers. Someone has to keep tradition going.
Some traditions are meant to be replaced, I think.
Perhaps. But some have been around for a long time for a reason.
And look how far they've gotten.
Look how far we've come.
And I'll sort of raise my glass in a toast and not say anything, but just
Yep.
kind of shrug the rest.
She toasts back. Good afternoon, Blair.
Good afternoon, Cordelia. And I will return to the front.
Apia really wants to stick their hand in the basket of ball bearings.
Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Touch.
Touch it.
Yes,
Touch the balls.
I would like to.
You would like to touch
Sorry,
the
I'm also
balls?
dealing with my son.
I love
I would like to
him.
touch them.
Okay.
I'm
yeah,
also
make-
like actively trying not to be remembered in this place.
I assumed,
I
yeah.
don't want anybody to know that I exist.
Make a power roll for me as you stick your hand into these balls. As you fondle the balls in this bucket.
I'm rolling with my wrong hand. Oh my god. Okay, I got a nat 12.
Woohoo!
So that's a 14.
Holy shit. All right.
The
You
cat
stick
gave
your
me
hand in.
powers.
Cat powers. And you feel sort of that same like weird tingling, like creeping, dripping sensation. But not like any it's very surface level for you. Like it feels kind of like water like being shaken off your hand essentially. But you can very much feel like you get the sense that if a normal person were to stick their hand in here, they might be tempted to keep sticking their hand in here and like something might happen to them. But when you pull your hand out, you can kind of like just shake it off like
Gross.
like water droplets off of plastic.
The vibes in this bucket are rancid. Absolutely garbage
Hate the
vibes.
vibe of these balls.
Number one priority for me, getting these balls out of here. Number two priority for me, where the fuck is the other gun?
Boo, we
There
hate
you
your
go.
balls.
Ro has one hit KO'd me. I haven't even gotten to the basement yet. Welcome to the basement. It's a storage area and it's pretty dank down here. It's like a converted like cellar. Like they've converted the cellar into a storage space. Like when this building was built, it was built as a cellar.
Okay, I'm looking for you know, the heart of the building, because we are operating on weird RPG logic, I guess, and Silent Hill logic, and you can
Silent
find the
Hill
heart
logic.
of a building.
Would you like to make a power roll to see if you can see if this building has a heart?
Yes. Or a lever, at least.
Yeah, something you can fuck with.
Yeah. The building's spleen. That's a 12.
12. You sort of stand on the earth that is in the cellar because it's a bare earth cellar. And you can feel the same kind of weird draw that all of these spaces have. You can feel the energy thrumming under your feet. But the central pillar of this building is not in this little cellar that you're in. You can feel from where the energy emanates out from. The central pillar of this building is actually in the backyard. You have not seen it yet, but you can feel it from where you are. There is a back courtyard to this building, and the central point of interest is thrumming out from something in the backyard.
But the basement doesn't go out to that point, or does it?
It does, in that you can climb out of the cellar to those external cellar doors that places have. If you feel like climbing a ladder and then opening some cellar doors. Otherwise, you can, take the stairs and go back to where you came.
Okay, I look around for anything that catches my attention, or more likely for someone to come down after me for
There's
snooping
no one,
around.
you can't hear anyone coming down. You would hear them making their way down the stairs, and you don't hear anyone coming after you. In here, they store a lot of the stuff that's been donated that's not really good enough to display, whether it's because it's not it's not a very relevant thing, or it's so deteriorated that they couldn't safely put it out there, or some things are questionable and they just keep them down here in a box.
Questionable in what way?
The sorts of things you don't necessarily want to have on display in a museum, in terms of we don't maybe want to have the records of a doctor who experimented on people just sort of out and about for kids to read, that
Right.
sort of thing.
Okay, then if what I'm looking for is not here, I will leave the way I came and move to the back of the building, to the place where I know it.
Yeah.
So the courtyard where I know it's the thing that I can kill.
It's the thing you might be able to kill. The energy appears to be sort of centered around a fountain in the back courtyard of the schoolhouse. It is definitely original. It is most certainly original architecture fountain. It is carved from a weird sort of a red marble with white and gold veining through it. So a red granite, sorry, not marble, granite, a red stone with gold and white veining through it. And it is an adult man pouring water out of a jug into the cups of small children is what the fountain is of.
Symbolic. Is there anyone around?
There are people milling about. This is kind of if you come here for a field trip, you come and eat lunch out here afterwards sort of space. So there are people here with their lunches and things. While Alina debates if she's going to commit building murder in front of children, is PbtA attempting to steal ball bearings in handfuls? Or is
How
he?
many
Or
ball-
are they going to take the whole bucket?
I would really like to take the whole bucket, but I don't know how I can pull that off. How
Would be
many,
difficult.
how big is this bucket? How many ball bearings are in here?
It's a like not like a huge barrel, but like probably like a barrel about yay wide around and like 3 feet tall. So
Jesus.
probably a good several thousand ball bearings.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Thinking. There's a couple things I could do here. How many people are in this room who like would know that I'm not supposed to be taking this?
Who would know and would care? Probably only the two like museum volunteers. The other people in here, there's like a couple of like tweens and a like family milling about, but they don't care enough definitely to necessarily stop you.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I am going to cause a distraction,
Okay.
which is that I'm going to use my power shadow figures.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna basically cause as much of a ruckus near like the shattered glass as possible, because I'm pretty
Cool.
sure that's like on the other side of the room from me, and
It
also
is,
a point of
yeah.
interest, and also a point of interest. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to cause as much of a ruckus over there as possible, and then just grab this thing and run, basically.
Cool. I don't think you have to roll for the shadow figures, do you?
I have to roll plus power.
Oh, okay.
Please, for the love of God, this work. Okay, so that is a 10.
All right, that's a full success. So you can make as many spooky shadow figures as you want appear around the shattered glass.
All right, just as like at least 3. I want them specifically to look like Confederate soldiers because I'm off my shits right now. Because I think that would cause the most of a ruckus.
It would. You're not wrong. You watch as these shadows appear, and both of the volunteers immediately like go white in the face and like rush toward the shattered glass to see what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to grab this barrel, and just book it the fuck out of here.
All right, make an agile roll, but take +1 because you've gotten out of here in a really sick way.
On the plus side, the
That's
alarm
an
will
8.
probably alert and disperse the people in the courtyard too. So that helps.
I got an 8.
An 8? Okay, that's a partial success.
Oh wait, 8. I think I got a 9 because I have a 7, 8, and you said I have a +1 to this, so
Yeah.
it's the 9.
Still a partial success. But you, I'll say that like in the process, you like twist your ankle and you take a point of harm. But you're so like dead set on getting this the fuck out of here that like you can just go.
Nice.
And now you have a huge bucket of ball bearings that I assume you're gonna immediately put directly in the car.
Correct.
And also, yes, the alarm has been pulled because these volunteers think that perhaps some Confederate reenactors have come into their museum, and so they're asking
Or possibly
ghosts. Or possibly ghosts.
ghosts.
Both are bad, and so they have pulled the alarm and are asking folks to leave. And so teachers are like gathering up their students and taking them outside.
Cool.
But yeah,
I just grabbed the thing with the worst vibes and ran.
and ran. Alina, you watch as teachers kind of gather up their students and start heading away from the courtyard towards their buses and things to wait for someone to come out and explain what was happening in the museum.
Alina will say sort of to herself, AB, I can always count on you. And then kill the fountain.
Okay. You walk up to the fountain and you're going to use your power on it, so go ahead.
That's 13.
Jesus Christ. Is it possible for you to fail these? I really need to know.
I mean, I have a plus three. I'm just lucky whenever I want to kill shit. I think I've never gotten a partial success on a murder roll.
No, you've either fully succeeded or failed.
Yeah.
But usually you succeed. I think you might have only failed once.
I'm trying to remember which one.
Laura?
I don't think I tried to kill Laura.
Or have you not tried to kill her yet?
No.
You might have succeeded every time.
It was the cult guy, and we don't know if you killed him or not.
No, but that was a success. I just didn't know if I killed him.
We just didn't know if
it was a success. He just is in the void.
Yeah, he went to the void. You don't know if he's dead or if he's just living in that little rock. But yeah, you walk up to the statue and begin using your abilities on it. And you watch as you touch it, and you watch as the water that is going down into this fountain. You're not sure if it's just to you or if there were other people, if they would see it too. The water turns to blood instead for a bit. And then as your power washes out and over it, it turns back to water.
Alina looks at the blood and goes like, of course you fucking would do that. Like talking to the entity, sort of like, of course it's a fountain of blood, you fucking... completely unfazed by watching the fountain turn to blood. Like,
why the fuck are you like this? Could you stop being edgy for 2 minutes?
Right. And well, she will turn around and leave.
Well, you turn around and Blair is having a cigarette 11 feet away, of course.
Okay, of course. Hello, Blair.
Now, why would you go and do a thing like that?
Good question. Because I will take a page from you types and say because I can.
What do you mean by you types?
Are we being coy about it?
Coy about what?
I tend to call them cackling worshippers, but there is some variety beyond that. You know, eager servants.
Which you are.
Not as such, but I think you are.
You do its work very diligently.
I suspect you are.
You've had a taste of what others have to offer than your primary.
I don't conceptualize it the same way you do, so I suppose from your perspective, sure. From mine, death is not a god. Death is just a process.
Isolation is not a god, it's simply a state of being.
Exactly.
that you seem to enjoy your little taste of?
Do I enjoy it? What a good question.
There's no shame in it. I've dabbled in other things.
Anyway, are you annoyed by my disruption of this, or are you just curious why I'm doing all of this?
Just curious as to why you've taken it upon yourself to dismantle the city.
Well, partly because I can.
All by yourself.
The Institute has been quite helpful in it.
Have they?
I think so. Maybe this is just all part of their plan and I'm just a puppet.
Well, in a way, we're all just puppets at the end of the day.
Sure.
You've been playing this game for a very long time. Aren't you tired?
When my time is up, my time will be up. It doesn't make a lot of sense to stop now. What would I do? Retire, get 2 dogs, live in a comfy house? Nah, that's not my style.
You could do those things. Find somewhere nice and quiet and alone to be by yourself and the memory of everything you've ever killed.
I don't think that much about the things I kill.
I put out my cigarette and I take a couple steps closer to you. Maybe you should.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to meet the thing you've been dabbling in a little more properly, Alina?
Sure.
Okay. DM, I'm gonna attempt to use that move that I have
Okay, go ahead.
on Alina.
This
I
is a
don't
wonderful way to get to the end of our episode.
I don't know if Alina has to roll something to resist or if I just roll high enough and it happens. I'm not sure.
It's contested when it's against a PC. So
Okay.
Alina, you can also roll power.
It's contested power. Okay. If it has something to do with fear, remember that I have the thing.
Yeah, Alina can't be made afraid of things.
It has nothing to do. Well, it has something to do with fear technically in the way that everything in this game has to do with fear, but not mechanically, no.
Cool. Power versus power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 13 again.
15.
Impressive.
That's the highest you could possibly have rolled.
It is.
Am I banished to the Shadow Realm? Do I not get to play a hand of Yu-Gi-Oh? To defend myself? Or was that
Blue
roll my
eyes,
hand of
white
Yu-Gi-Oh?
dragon.
Rue, I want to know what this looks like in your mind.
I mean, like conceptually, or
Yeah, I want to know what your version of this looks like.
like, you know when you astral projected into the lonely a while back?
Yes.
It's like that, but all at once. And instead of like you stepping into it, the fog just sort of rolls in and over your vision and over your form, and you feel very detached from yourself and also from time and also from everything else. And you are in the same courtyard you were already in, but everyone who moved away has moved to a point where they are only vague figures in the fog, and you can hear the echo of voices, but no actual sound. Everything falls dead. You can add different flavor if you want it to be different than that, Quinn.
No, that's perfect.
So I have been banished to the Shadow Realm then.
Yeah? You've been banished
Okay.
to the lonely Shadow Realms.
I'll take a moment to think. And then I guess I'll start walking. If if I know through knowing my geographical location, I don't think the lonely really shapes space all that much, as far as I understand. I will try to get to the cemetery.
Yeah, I mean, distances seem greater when there are other people there. But it's not like the spiral where space isn't real anymore.
Right.
Yeah, you can make your way over to the cemetery if you'd like to.
Okay. I'll walk to the cemetery. I assume things are going to happen before I get there, so I don't know if anyone else is going to do anything about Alina disappearing, but
What did you want to ask, Kestrel?
Are there people still in the building?
No, they've all evacuated.
I'd like to set the building on fire.
Okay. Cool. I mean, I don't know what I had you roll for that last time. Force, maybe, to see how good the fire is? Or power? One of the two?
I will do power. Yeah. I'll do power for that.
haven't you gotten any desolation powers?
Yeah.
I do, actually.
Yeah.
So that is a 10.
That's a full success. You can have this fire go however you want it to.
I'm gonna put the fire in like the section with the most load-bearing walls. And also making sure specifically that the exhibit that the ball bearings were in is also on fire.
Cool. Yep. Everyone had been kind of confused about the alarm, and then they watched the building begin to smoke, and they assumed that someone just pulled the fire alarm when they saw the first hints of a fire and got everyone out before the fire started spreading. As they watched this building, which is old, so not fire resistant by any means, begin going up in flames.
Cool. And I'm exiting through the back because I know that most people are in the front. I'm also, like, as I'm doing this, I'd like to try to fry every single computer and video recording software in this building.
I mean, if you walk close enough to it, you're gonna fuck it. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm gonna walk out into the backyard.
Where Blair is standing, and Alina is not. Or is Blair standing there?
I think Blair would have gone into the lonely as well, just not with Alina. Blair is.
Oh, okay.
I think Blair moves a little differently than Alina would through it.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna regroup with. I'm gonna go out the back and regroup with Damien.
Damien is guarding the ball bearings in the car, so that
Cool.
someone doesn't come in and take them.
So I come back to the car. Alina and Blair are gone.
Oh, that is a problem.
There's also another missing gun.
Oh, that's also a problem. Maybe a lesser problem, maybe just a little bit, but also bad. Okay.
Something to be on the watch for.
Well, yep. we'll deal with that. Thank you for this and also for letting me know. And also and they gestured to the burning building.
Thank you for burning down the museum. Appreciate
Um,
it.
I've had me pointing to the museum. I've had enough of this guy.
I guess we're gonna. I have to get to work, so I guess we're gonna deal with Alina in the Lonely at the start of next episode, because I physically cannot be here for longer than like 5 more minutes.
Great.
So we will deal with that at the beginning of our next episode.
Nice.
Thank you all for joining us today. We're gonna do outros in reverse order. So Quinn, would you like to go first?
I am Quinn at Quintastic_ on Twitter. I am playing Blair, who has never done anything wrong in their entire life. I can't say what this straight face anymore. Follow me on Twitter. I do so many things, TTRPG and sensitivity reading and actual play stuff. Just Twitter. It's all on Twitter. It's a fast version.
Ro.
Hi, I'm Ro. I use they, them pronouns. I've been playing Alina, who is going to kill someone soon, hopefully. And you can find me on Twitter at RoViolich. I have other things. I write a fantasy webcomic that you can find at rlf.com, or you can follow the Twitter at Of Dwarfs and Men. Currently we are in hiatus, but at some point we will get back to it. And that's it.
Castro.
Hi, I'm Kestrel. I use Zem, Zers pronouns, and I have been playing Apia, who uses they, them, theirs pronouns. Apia is made of Valerian and Belladonna, who use he, him, his pronouns, and she, her, hers pronouns, respectively. You can find me at Azelphaphage Art, which I'm gonna spell in the chat because it's hard. On Twitter, and I'm currently taking commissions if you're interested. So all of my art is linked there.
And I'm Rue. I use they or he pronouns, and I've been your narrator, and also Damien this evening. It's not evening, it's 2 p.m. And you can find me on Twitter as at Ilana Knight 13, and everywhere else is just Ilana Knight. And on top of this show, I also every other Saturday GM a Monster Hearts campaign over on Friends Who Roll Dice. And I also am in a Vampire the Masquerade game on Nerds with Dice on Sundays. Other than that, I do a lot of sensitivity reading and voice acting for podcasts, and you can see everything that I'm doing on my Twitter. I'd like to thank Nova for doing our tech today and being very kind to me and not starting us back from break while I actively choked on water, because she's extremely kind and didn't want to punish me. So I'd like to thank my tech overlord, Nova, for her work. And also Heroes at Limits for having us on the channel. I would also like to thank Percy, who made the overlays that you've been seeing today, both the current one that we're all in and the Be Right Back and Starting Soon screens. You can commission them from their Twitter, and you can find them at Liquid Rena on Twitter. Other than that, we will see you back here in 2 weeks on the 31st. There are 31 days in August, question mark?
Are there?
Yes.
If there are 31 days in August, the 31st.
Yes, there are.
It is.
Cool, thank you. And we will see you then for whatever's gonna happen next. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.